Imagine, what would you do if the grid went down tomorrow? Picture a world without electricity, running water, or the internet. A world where your everyday conveniences are no longer available at your fingertips. Sounds daunting, right? Well, being prepared for such a situation does not have to be an overwhelming task. With the right knowledge and tools, you can navigate through such a crisis. So buckle up as we embark on this enlightening journey. Let's delve into the 30 things that would become invaluable if the grid goes down. First and foremost, survival is about having the right tools and supplies. Let's start with the basics. A first aid kit is a must-have. Without access to sterile supplies and medications, even minor injuries could become life-threatening. In a similar vein, clean water is essential for survival. With no running water, water purification tablets or filters become your best friends. Fire, too, is fundamental to survival. It provides warmth, cooks your food, and boils your water. So, a fire starter, be it lighters, matches, or flint and steel, becomes invaluable. And when darkness creeps in, a reliable source of light, like a flashlight or a headlamp, is essential. Now, wouldn't it be great to have one tool that can handle various tasks? That's where a multi-tool comes in handy. It can help you fix equipment, open cans, or make minor repairs. And speaking of equipment, let's not forget the importance of sturdy shoes. In a world without vehicles, you'll likely be walking or hiking long distances for supplies or shelter. Food, of course, is vital, and what better way to ensure a long-term supply than growing your own? Seeds and gardening tools become priceless possessions in this scenario. But survival isn't just about the essentials. It's also about being prepared for whatever comes your way. For instance, you might need to navigate without GPS. This means that knowing how to use a map and compass is a must. Similarly, books on survival skills become invaluable, arming you with knowledge of first aid, shelter building, foraging, and basic survival techniques. These are the fundamental tools and supplies that will keep you alive and safe. But remember, survival is also about adaptability. It's about being able to use what you have to get what you need. And most importantly, it's about the will to survive, the determination to keep going no matter how tough things get. In a world without GPS and internet, the old school methods of navigation and knowledge become crucial. When the grid goes down, the digital maps we've come to rely on will vanish. Suddenly, that dusty old paper map in the back of your drawer becomes a lifeline. Knowing how to read it and how to use a compass becomes paramount. These tools don't need batteries or a signal. They're reliable and effective if you know how to use them. So dust off those Boy Scout skills or take a course in orienteering. You'll thank yourself later. And it's not just about knowing where you are, but also knowing what's around you. Local community information becomes invaluable. Who are your neighbors? What skills do they have? Is there a nurse living next door, a mechanic across the street? Are there local resources like a well, a pond, or an orchard? Knowing your community and having a plan to work together can be a massive advantage in a crisis. But what about the knowledge you carry in your mind? Books on survival skills, first aid, shelter building, foraging, and basic survival techniques become your new best friends. They don't require electricity or a network connection to work. Just a good source of light. When was the last time you built a fire without matches or identified edible plants in the wild? These skills might seem archaic now, but they've ensured human survival for thousands of years. In our digital age, we've outsourced a lot of our practical knowledge to the internet. But when the grid goes down, Google won't be there to help you. You'll need to rely on your own knowledge and skills. So start learning now. Buy those books, take those courses, practice those skills. Your future self might be depending on it. Knowledge and the ability to navigate your surroundings could be the difference between life and death. Communication and trade are integral parts of human society, and they become even more crucial in a crisis. In a world where our digital transactions are rendered useless, tangible forms of exchange revert to the basics. Cash, specifically small bills, can be a lifesaver. When electronic transactions are off the table, even a small amount of cash can turn into a bargaining chip. But money isn't the only form of currency in a crisis. Barter items can also be a lifeline. Consider things like lighters, salt, or basic tools. In a survival situation, these seemingly simple items can become as valuable as gold. They can be traded for needed supplies or used to forge alliances with others. The ability to barter effectively can make the difference between thriving and merely surviving. But what good is trade without communication? That's where our next item comes in, a battery-powered radio. In the absence of the internet and cell service, a radio becomes your lifeline to the outside world. It allows you to stay informed about the situation, make better decisions, and even connect with others. Weather and emergency broadcasts become our eyes and ears, providing crucial information when we need it most. And in case you find yourself in a situation where you need to signal for help or attract attention, a loud whistle can be a lifesaver. It's a small, simple tool, but in a crisis, it can be heard over long distances and can be a beacon for rescuers. In a world gone offline, these seemingly simple items, cash, barter items, a radio, a whistle, become tools of survival. They help us connect with others, stay informed, and even secure our basic needs. They remind us that even in a crisis, our ability to communicate and trade with others remains a fundamental part of our survival. Being able to communicate and trade effectively could make your survival journey a little easier. Protecting your health and ensuring safety are of utmost importance during a crisis. When the grid goes down, the comfort of our homes can quickly turn into a survival scenario, and having the right tools on hand can make all the difference. In the chill of the night or the harsh light of day, a blanket or a sleeping bag can be a lifesaver. They provide warmth and comfort, shielding you from the elements and potentially preventing hypothermia. Similarly, sturdy work gloves protect your hands, one of your most valuable tools. Whether you're gathering firewood, clearing debris, or making repairs, these gloves can prevent cuts, burns, and other injuries. A crisis often stirs up more than just fear. Dust from debris or fires can fill the air, and without proper protection, it can irritate your lungs or even lead to serious respiratory problems. A simple dust mask can offer an invaluable line of defense. In the face of an emergency, a small fire can quickly turn into a raging inferno. A compact, easy-to-use fire extinguisher can help prevent a disaster, protecting both you and your shelter. Sanitation, often overlooked, becomes crucial in a grid-down situation. Basic supplies like soap, toothpaste, and toilet paper help maintain hygiene, reducing the risk of disease and infection. For those with medical conditions, having a supply of essential medications on hand is vital. Without the grid, pharmacies may not be accessible, and running out of necessary medication could have severe consequences. Finally, a basic sewing kit might seem insignificant, but in a world without next-day delivery, the ability to repair clothing or gear becomes a valued skill. A needle and thread can mend a tear, replace a button, or even stitch up a wound in a pinch. Staying healthy and safe should always be your top priority. Remember, in a crisis, it's not just about surviving the day, but preparing for the days, weeks, and possibly months ahead. The items we've discussed are just a few of the many that could prove invaluable when the grid goes down. So, plan wisely, prepare thoroughly, and stay safe. Surviving a crisis is not just about physical survival, but also about mental strength and community support. Let's begin with the power of positivity. The ability to maintain a positive attitude during challenging times is not just a cliché, it's a survival skill. Resourcefulness and the ability to find solutions in the face of adversity are qualities that will help you adapt and overcome. Patience, too, becomes a priceless virtue. In a world where we're accustomed to instant gratification, things will undoubtedly move slower without the conveniences we're used to. Understanding this and accepting it will make your journey a lot smoother. Physical fitness is another crucial factor. The increased physical demands of a power outage situation will require strength, endurance, and resilience. Being in good shape not only allows you to handle these demands, but also boosts your immune system and overall health. But perhaps the most invaluable asset in a crisis is a strong sense of community. Knowing your neighbors, working together to solve problems, and sharing resources can make the difference between mere survival and thriving. A community that stands together can weather any storm. So while it's important to prepare in terms of supplies and knowledge, don't forget to build your mental strength and foster a sense of community. Your mental strength and the support of your community could be your greatest assets in a crisis. In a world without the grid, these 30 items would become priceless. From essential tools and supplies like first aid kits, water purification tablets, and fire starters, to knowledge and navigation aids such as survival books, maps, and compasses. In a time of crisis, communication tools and trade items, including cash, barter items, and a battery-powered radio, are invaluable. Health and safety must also be a priority. Items like sturdy shoes, work gloves, and sanitation supplies, as well as the availability of essential medications, could mean the difference between life and death. Finally, in a world without conveniences, mental strength and community spirit become our most valuable assets. Patience, understanding, physical fitness, and a strong sense of community can help us adapt to challenging situations and work together to overcome them. Remember, survival isn't about the fittest, but about the most prepared. Stay safe and stay prepared.